The story begins in the year 3084, where a long and devastating war had been raging in China for many years, claiming the lives of thousands. The population was rapidly declining, prompting the ruler, Hyakkimaru, to seek help from demons. He entered a secret chamber where statues of 48 demons were kept. Hyakkimaru dismissed the priest present, as he wanted to communicate with the demons alone. He explained to the demons that his father and all his brothers had perished in the war, and if nothing was done, his entire lineage would be wiped out forever. He sought the demons' help to destroy his enemy, Kanayama, and asked what they desired in return. Just then, a rat entered the room, and Hyakkimaru killed it with a single sword strike. However, the rat's spirit appeared and declared that in exchange for their assistance, the demons wanted the body of Hyakkimaru's unborn child. Reluctantly, he agreed to their terms, stating that in return for the annihilation of his enemies, the demons could each claim one body part of his unborn child. As he spoke, a powerful lightning bolt struck his forehead, leaving a cross-shaped mark. At that moment, the priest re-entered the room and realized that Hyakkimaru had struck a deal with the demons at the cost of his son's body. To keep this secret from being revealed, Hyakkimaru killed the priest. 20 years later, the story shifts to a young man who arrives in a small village. There, he encounters an orphan girl pretending to be a boy to survive. Having lost her parents at a young age, she lived alone in the world and resorted to petty theft to make ends meet. Meanwhile, the young man, wearing a mask, entered a bar while hunting his target. During a dance performance, a masked woman appeared on stage. The young man made his way toward her, fighting off security guards who tried to stop him. A swordsman attacked him, but the young man blocked the sword with his arm. However, the sword sliced off his arm, revealing a blade underneath. He defeated the swordsman and slashed off the masked woman's disguise, revealing her true form, a demon disguised as a human. The demon transformed into a monstrous insect and attacked the young man, trying to kill him with her claws. Despite being injured, the young man's body regenerated instantly. At the same time, the orphan girl, passing by the bar, saw people fleeing in panic. She entered the bar to escape some boys chasing her, as she had stolen their money. Inside, she witnessed the young man slaying the demon insect with the blade on his arm. Afterward, his severed arm regenerated, and the fake arm turned to dust. The girl and the boy chasing her were terrified upon seeing this and tried to escape. But before they could, the young man approached them, removed his eye, and asked how he looked. Terrified, they fled, but the orphan girl knocked the young man unconscious from behind and escaped. She later reached an old man and inquired about the warrior. The old man told her that 20 years ago, a sorcerer collecting herbs by a river found a wooden container. Inside was the body of a child missing several limbs and organs, yet miraculously alive. The sorcerer brought the child home and decided to keep him alive. He resolved to craft a new body for the boy. He went to a war-torn village, collected body parts from corpses, and used his secret herbs to create a magical liquid. Combining the liquid with electricity, he forged a heart and attached the limbs to the child. The sorcerer completed the body and brought the child back to life with an electric shock. He equipped the child with blades and trained him in martial arts. The boy's mental strength was extraordinary, making him a fierce warrior despite being blind and deaf. Years passed, and the sorcerer died of illness. Before his death, he instructed the boy to burn down the house, as his magical knowledge in the wrong hands could make someone immortal and plunge the world into chaos. After setting the house ablaze, the boy heard a voice. The voice revealed that 48 demons had stolen his body parts, and to reclaim them, he needed to slay all 48 demons with the sorcerer's blade. After hearing this, the orphan girl decided to join the warrior in his mission. She asked his name, but he replied that he didn't have one and was known as Hyakkimaru. She introduced herself as Dororo. Hyakkimaru tried to dissuade her from joining him, but she persisted, and he eventually gave in. Later, while resting by a river, they encountered a demonic child formed from the spirits of dead children. Hyakkimaru followed the creature to a ruined temple and explained that the souls of abandoned children had created it. Meanwhile, Dororo encountered a couple offering sacrifices for the temple's children. Learning that the couple had once abandoned their children at the temple out of fear of war, Dororo became furious and threw their offerings back at them before storming off into the forest. A man on horseback invited them to his home, where his wife and 7 daughters, dressed like porcelain dolls, welcomed them. During the night, the daughters transformed into insect-like demons and attacked Dororo. Hyakkimaru was prepared for the assault and defeated them all. The spirits of the dead children guided them to a hidden room filled with human bones. Realizing these were the remains of the abandoned children, they understood the man's wife was a demon who had lured the children to feed her offspring. When the demon learned Hyakkimaru had killed her daughters, she urged her husband to fight him. Hyakkimaru confronted the man and warned him to abandon his wife, as she would eventually enslave his soul. Meanwhile, Dororo rallied the villagers, revealing the demon's true nature. The villagers, armed and enraged, joined her in confronting the demon. Back at the house, the demon stabbed Hyakkimaru and her husband. The husband died instantly, But Hyakkimaru, fueled by vengeance, fought on. The spirits of the temple children attacked the demon, giving Hyakkimaru the chance to strike her down with his special sword. Dororo arrived as the battle concluded, finding the demon slain. Hyakkimaru and Dororo continuing their journey, determined to face the remaining demons. The villagers burned the remaining demon eggs in the fire, freeing the trapped souls of the children. Finally, Hyakkimaru regained his original liver, and the artificial liver created by the sorcerer fell to the ground. After this, Hyakkimaru and Dororo embarked on their next mission. While traveling through the forest, they encountered another terrifying demon, this time a tree-like creature with a human head. The demon used its thick hair to ensnare Hyakkimaru, attempting to crush him to death. Hyakkimaru barely managed to free himself and, realizing that the demon was hidden within the tree trunk, used his blade to slice the trunk in two, killing the demon. In doing so, he regained his left ear. A few days later, Hyakkimaru faced a lizard demon without arms. The lizard lifted Hyakkimaru with its tongue and threw him around before attempting to crush him under its weight. Dororo intervened and managed to free Hyakkimaru, but the lizard continued its relentless pursuit. It grabbed Hyakkimaru with its tongue again and flung him around. Just as the lizard tried to devour him, Dororo stabbed its eye with a knife, causing Hyakkimaru to fall to the ground. Seizing the opportunity, Hyakkimaru used his sword to cut off the lizard's tongue. However, the lizard's tough skin made it nearly impossible to kill from the outside. Hyakkimaru decided to enter its body and slice it apart from the inside. He did so and destroyed the demon, which disintegrated into ash. As a result, Hyakkimaru regained his throat and heard his own voice for the first time in his life. Their next battle was against a hawk-like demon. Hyakkimaru fought it fiercely in midair, but the hawk knocked him off its back and attempted to crush him with a large boulder. It then pushed Hyakkimaru off a cliff, but Hyakkimaru managed to save himself by jamming his blade into a rock. Meanwhile, Dororo distracted the hawk by throwing a rock at its head, drawing its attention. As the hawk chased her, Hyakkimaru seized the moment to attack its face repeatedly and eventually decapitated it with his sword. Before dying, the hawk revealed something that left Hyakkimaru in deep thought. It said, "If you wish to hate someone, hate your father. He came to us and sacrificed you. We didn't come to him." With that, the hawk's body turned to ash, and Hyakkimaru's left arm was restored. However, his mind was now plagued with questions. As they continued their journey, they eventually reached the border of Daigo's kingdom and Kanayama's territory. From a distance, they saw Daigo's grand palace. Dororo, filled with anger, recalled how Daigo's soldiers had brutally murdered her parents. She remembered the day when Daigo's army destroyed her entire village on mere suspicion that the villagers were aiding Kanayama. Dororo and her mother had hidden and watched helplessly as the soldiers killed everyone, including Dororo's father, right before their eyes. The massacre left Dororo and her mother as the sole survivors. Forced to wander in search of shelter, Dororo's mother had told her to live as a boy until she found someone as noble and strong as her father. A few weeks later, Dororo's mother passed away. Dororo vowed to avenge her parents by killing Daigo and every member of his family. Hyakkimaru, now with his right arm restored, replaced his blade with a proper sword salvaged from the battlefield. Soon, 3 of Daigo's soldiers approached them, questioning their presence. Dororo, enraged, lashed out at them. The soldiers threatened to slit her throat, prompting Hyakkimaru to hurl a skull at one soldier's head, while Dororo stabbed another in the leg. As Hyakkimaru finished off the first soldier, Dororo attacked the third, who fell at Hyakkimaru's feet. With one swift strike, Hyakkimaru ended him too. Dororo then picked up a soldier's sword, and the two entered a nearby village. However, Hyakkimaru soon got into a scuffle, catching the attention of Daigo, who invited Hyakkimaru to his palace and offered him a place in his army to fight for the kingdom. Before Hyakkimaru could meet Daigo, he encountered his mother. Upon seeing Hyakkimaru, she asked where he got the cloth around his neck. As Hyakkimaru touched her hand, he saw the moment she had placed him in a wooden container and let him drift down the river. Daigo had forced her to abandon him, and with no other choice, she had let her child float away. Realizing this, Hyakkimaru fainted, overwhelmed by the revelation that Daigo was his father. His younger brother helped their mother, giving Hyakkimaru the chance to escape. Later, Daigo's wife informed him that their firstborn son had returned, but Daigo dismissed it, claiming she was delusional. Meanwhile, Dororo met Hyakkimaru by a river. Hyakkimaru revealed that he was Daigo's firstborn son. Initially skeptical, Dororo held his hand, and he showed her everything that had happened in the palace. Hyakkimaru then asked Dororo to kill him, believing himself unworthy of life. Shocked, Dororo froze, unable to act. Hyakkimaru started to leave, vowing never to appear before her again, but Dororo ran after him and stabbed him in the back with a knife. At that moment, the old man who had been observing Hyakkimaru's journey appeared and revealed the truth about Daigo's pact with the demons. Daigo had sacrificed Hyakkimaru's body to the 48 demons in exchange for the kingdom's protection. Hyakkimaru swore to make Daigo feel the same pain he had endured by cutting off 48 parts of his father's body. However, Dororo stopped him, saying that no matter what, he couldn't kill his own father. Before they could act further, 2 new demons attacked Hyakkimaru. They fought like rabid dogs, but Hyakkimaru killed them mercilessly with his sword. As a result, both his eyes were restored, and for the first time, he saw the world around him. Dororo urged him to let go of his hatred, just as she had abandoned her own desire for revenge against Daigo's lineage. The next morning, Hyakkimaru set out to confront Daigo. Meanwhile, Daigo sought the demons again, demanding an end to the ongoing war despite his sacrifice. One demon revealed that the root of the chaos was Hyakkimaru's survival. He should have died years ago but remained alive. Enraged, Daigo decided to kill Hyakkimaru himself. As Hyakkimaru and Dororo traveled, Daigo's soldiers attacked them. Hyakkimaru instructed the old man to take Dororo to safety and fought the soldiers alone. Suddenly, an explosion occurred, and Tamaru, Hyakkimaru's younger brother, arrived to kill him. The two engaged in a fierce battle, but Hyakkimaru only sought to stop his brother from fighting. However, Tamaru was relentless, and their clash continued. Amid the fight, a third soldier attempted to kill Hyakkimaru, but Hyakkimaru broke his sword, causing a shard to fatally wound Tamaru. Daigo's wife arrived just in time to see her younger son die. Grief-stricken, she blamed Hyakkimaru, but Daigo appeared and killed her without hesitation, further enraging Hyakkimaru. Despite Dororo's attempts to stop him, Hyakkimaru knocked her unconscious and faced Daigo in a final battle. Daigo, gravely injured, confessed he had no regrets about sacrificing his son. As Hyakkimaru prepared to kill him, he paused, recalling Dororo's words about overcoming hatred. He spared Daigo and stepped back. At that moment, Tamaru's body stirred. A demon appeared, offering to resurrect Tamaru in exchange for Daigo's body. Daigo accepted, transforming into a monstrous form. Hyakkimaru killed the demon-possessed Daigo with the sword his father had once wielded, ensuring the kingdom's safety. Before dying, Daigo named Tamaru the new king, urging Dororo to care for Hyakkimaru. Hyakkimaru regained his heart, finally becoming whole. Though Tamaru asked him to become king, Hyakkimaru refused, stating he needed to reclaim the remaining stolen parts of his body. Tamaru promised to wait for him, offering his father's sword as a gift. Hyakkimaru then reunited with Dororo at the border, where she had waited, fearing he wouldn't return. Overwhelmed with emotion, she ran to embrace him, but suddenly kicked him in the stomach, scolding him to stay alert now that he had his real heart. Deep down, it seemed Dororo had begun to care for him. The story ends as Hyakkimaru and Dororo continue their journey, determined to face whatever lies ahead. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.